There is a life that you believe that everyone else is living except you. And I think that that in itself is a problem. But sit with me, let me walk you through the thoughts. Have you ever had one of those moments where you are genuinely happy and then you open your phone and you see someone just got engaged? Someone else just bought a house. A friend announced a new job. Another person is celebrating their 5th anniversary. Someone else is traveling. Another person just launched a business. Someone just welcomed a baby. Or they just started something that excites them. And the list is endless. And within a few minutes, something quietly changed on your inside. Not something dramatic, but something just enough to make you ask yourself, should I be further ahead by now? And I think that one of the most honest question that many of us carry is this question. And it's not because we are ungrateful, it's not because we are jealous, but because it's very easy to mistake someone else's milestone and timeline for the standard that we should believe in. And I need you to understand that this is not peculiar to you. I've caught myself, doing this too. There have been moments when I achieved something that I had worked incredibly hard for. And I'm excited, I'm proud of it. And sometimes I even got on my way to buy myself something little just to celebrate that moment, to celebrate that milestone. Then I'll come across someone else's milestone, and without realizing it, unconsciously, my joy started negotiating with their success. Now, this may sound strange when we say it out loud, just like I'm doing right now. But I think we've all been there. And that is why this thought and this conversation is very important. Now, what's interesting is that comparison really starts with insecurity. Most of the time, it starts with admiration. You see someone doing something well and you genuinely celebrate them because you are sincerely moved by what they are doing. You admire them. Then a quiet thought slips in. What about me? And it's such a small question. But if we are not careful, it grows into something bigger. And you begin to ask yourself questions like, am I behind? Am I wasting my time? Did I make the wrong decision? Will my time or will my turn ever come? And before long, something happened. You realize that you are no longer looking at their journey. At this point, you started questioning your own journey. And here is what makes it more interesting, personally. The older I get, the more I realize that every life has a different rhythm. While some people meet the love of their life while they're about 25, others is at 30 or is at 40. While some discover the work they are meant to do early, others spent years trying different paths before they finally find the one that fits. While some businesses grow quickly, others takes years before another one gets noticed. And neither of this story is wrong. they are just different. They are just unique in themselves. And I think that one of the biggest mistakes we can make is believing that life has one correct timeline for everyone. And as though everyone should graduate at the same age, get a job at the same age, get married at the same age, start earning well at the same age, own a house at the same age. I think if that's it, the dynamics of life, trust me, I think it's really going to be boring here. Build a successful career at the same age, and the list continues. So I ask myself, who decided that? Who wrote that rule? Who told us that this is the time all of these things need to happen in your life? And if these things do not happen at this time, then you are behind. Because when you really think about it, you realize that life has never worked that way. And if you think about it deeply, it doesn't really make sense. Some of the people we admire today spent years feeling like nothing is really happening. And guess what? The world simply didn't see those years. What we all see is the fact that we celebrate the promotion. We rarely see the rejection letters. We admire the thriving business, but we don't see the nights when the owner wondered whether to give up or not. We applaud the confidence, and we often miss the years spent doubting themselves. And that's why I try to remind myself of something often, that people usually share the chapter of their life they are most proud of, not the chapter that almost broke them. And when we all see things from this perspective, we won't just see the highlights, because it is very easy to believe everyone else's story is smoother than yours. But no, it's not. It's the lie that you are selling to yourself. It's simply edited. Just know this and know peace. There's nothing in this life that is perfect as you see it out there. Now, there is another thought that had helped me over the years. Sometimes when I feel like I'm not moving fast enough, I stop and ask myself one question. If the version of me from 5 years ago could see my life today, what would they say? Now, I love this question because every time it changes my perspective, it changes my direction and my attention. And instead of looking sideways, I started looking backwards. I remember the prayers I once whispered, the opportunities I once hoped for, the confidence I didn't have, the lessons I had not learned, the door that had not opened yet. And suddenly I realized something, that even though I am not where I want to be, but I'm not also where I used to be. And I think that that is worth acknowledging. And I do genuinely think that we underestimate the importance of celebrating quiet process and progress. Because it's not every victory that comes with an applause. Some victories look like becoming more patient, learning to say no, recovering from disappointment, and choosing peace over proving a point, and walking away from something that no longer serves you. Those victories deserve celebrations too. So, before the end of today's conversation, I would like to leave you with a small invitation. This weekend, as we go into the new week, before you compare your life with that of someone else, take just 10 minutes. Write down at least 5 things that have changed in your life over the past few years. Not because they impress anyone else. Write them down because they represent growth to you. Maybe you've become kinder, you've become wiser, maybe you've become more disciplined, maybe you've learned to forgive, maybe you found work that gives you purpose, maybe you've simply survived a season you once thought would break you. Just maybe. Don't rush past those things. Take time to go through them. They are part of your story. They are part of your journey. And your story deserves your attention, because the life you are building isn't late. It's just unfolding at its own pace and at its own season. I hope this really makes sense, and I hope that this really helps you. Thank you for spending this moment with me. I hope wherever you are, this conversation reminds you to be a little gentler with yourself, to be kinder with yourself, and to extend grace to yourself. Until next week, keep thinking deeply. The world needs more of it.